Greetings and salutations, friends. Character NPC, back at the table for another game session. It's been going pretty well. I'm enjoying how the story is playing out. There's really a lot going on. Having been sent to the next town east, Aratar, by Father Calmert to retrieve a golden vessel so that Cannon Terjon, the leader of the Church of St. Cuthbert in Elfwine, can make more holy water in one vigil, one ceremony, whatever you call that. Along the way, we find out we've been spied upon and watched. Sure enough, I used the rumor tables, which are really just the reaction tables in the Dungeon Master's Guide. It's just a reaction table. I just rewrote the verbiage in alignment with what the original was. So, you know, down at the bottom, less than 50%, about the bottom 40% was, you know, kind of bad, and then the middle was indecisive, and then the top end was good, and so I just renamed that. But anyway, I digress. You can watch the solo DM prep if you need to, how that works. But I used the very first rumor we ever got to confirm that the things that had happened in the storyline so far regarding encounters, you know, are tied together. There's something evident we get from the prefect. Yes, we're aware you're being watched, and opposing forces know about the basin traveling, the golden receptacle of St. Cuthbert. It is traveling back to Elfwine, and those forces know it and knew it was going to happen even before we did, potentially. Who knows, because that ogre attacked us in the same hex as Elfwine, way back over here, right at the beginning of our journey, which was already stalled by torrential rains. We had tropical storms for a couple days right there at the beginning. Didn't even think of that as being a sign, you know, and yeah, evidently it was. So who knows what these opposing forces are. I'll probably do another DM stream this weekend and go through how I'm going to determine what that is. But in the meantime, what I'm hoping to do is find out what happens on the way back to Elfwine and see if there are any interconnected encounters that we might roll that would make sense in that plot line before I start rolling in something like the Tome of Adventure Design to have, you know, juicy threads of ideas to put something together. Maybe an arch nemesis or a greater plot line or something like that. Who knows? We'll see. And so, friends, this is where we begin. We ended the last day, the 24th. The past 2 days we haven't had any encounters and no rain, which is great. I hope it hasn't jinxed us for this play session. But anyway, we're starting on the 5th, and we need to check the weather. So and we use an 8-sider and a 10-sider. Die 8 plus 4 is 7 plus 4, 11, so it's going to be 53 is the high. haven't actually been calling out in the past what these die rolls are and how I'm coming to the numbers that I'm coming to, so I'm going to try to be a little more direct about that. And we rolled this 1 on the 10-sider, which would be 10 plus 4 being 5 from 42 to get our low would be 37. And then we'll roll percentile dice, find out what our sky conditions are. 55, cloudy again. And hopefully no precipitation, over 44%. Oh no, we have some definite precipitation of some sort. Let's see what that is. I knew it couldn't last forever, friends. Okay, so we roll on the precipitation occurrence table. 36. Oh, that's not in view, but it is 36. Light fog. Minimum would have to be 30 degrees, and we have that, 37, and maximum would be 70, and we have that, so we're good. It's going to be a light fog. That'll be interesting. 30% chance to continue. All right. And let's see what the repercussions of light fog are. Light fog for a duration of 2 to 4 hours. So it may just be as we set out in the morning. 6. Right, light fog. Yep, so it'll be for 6 hours. Ugh, movement rates halved. Normal vision down to 1/4. Ultravision and infravision down to 3/4. And it'll affect tracking and chances of getting lost. Plus 30%. But we're on the trail with the river right next to us, so we really can't very well get lost. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but it would be extremely rare. 6 hours. Half movement, damn it. So, that's it for the moment. We need to check back again. After 6 hours, really, it's the duration. Okay. I had not been doing the duration right, I don't think, in the past, because after those other thunderstorms that happened, less than the tropical storms, but still dumped down a bunch of rain, we ended up having a clear day the rest of the day. I don't remember how I did that. I think I held the movement speed and everything throughout the entire day. Like, that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to say, yeah, it might have only lasted for 6 hours, but for us, basically, that it's going to affect our travel rate the entire day. And then the continuance would be, does it happen again tomorrow versus does it happen again the same day for another 6 hours? So we're done there, we need to have our clerics begin their morning rituals. And didn't put down food and water here. Need that. And we used food and water yesterday. This is the 25th. Today is God's Day. So none of us are worshiping their rule, so it doesn't matter. It's his holiday, or its holiday. Who knows what it is? Never heard of Naru. We're going to spend some extra time, especially since we're only going to get half movement anyway. We're only going to get 7.5. We're going to spend some extra time praying, and we'll use Aetbert's Create Water again to make sure that we have enough water rations. Bolda and Tiny are not changing their spells throughout this whole thing. So these are the spells that they have throughout this whole trip. And so we wake up in the morning, begin our morning rituals, take extra time, noticing that it's God's Day today, to really, I mean, I don't even know how they would go over the top in chanting, prayer, jubilation, or anything else, but, you know, like, they're really doing it up because it's God's Day today, and they're all there to totally, like, put the prayers and chanting and worship into the holy receptacle. And nothing happens. I was on the edge of the screen, but that's an 8. Whew. Got away with it again. I'm dreading when it starts to happen. It's going to be like this rain and stuff. Eventually it's just going to happen. It's going to be, could be disastrous. Yeah, so we start moving down the road. And it's foggy all morning and afternoon. And eventually the fog lifts, but it's it's way into the day. For us, it seemed like a perpetual cloudy, almost kind of mystical, to be along this. We're trying to make this bend in the river, because we were 10 miles in when we started. Right here. And since we're only going to go 7.5 miles, I mean, we're just getting closer to the hills. We see the hills in front of us here. And then the river kind of turned towards the north at the end of the day when we camp. And once we camp, as usual, we get off the edge of the road about 200 yards. So that puts the river about 400 yards to our north. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping that on the screen. 11. No. I'm throwing everything now. Probably gonna find an extra castle somewhere over here now that I threw the pin and make new mark. Oh, there's one right here. There's an extra dot here. It shouldn't be here. And you can see it. I'll have to add that something in. Maybe that's a caves. That's next to Marius. The town of Marius. City. Town of Marius. Something to that effect. Having a beer this evening while we play, so forgive me if I stop and have a drink now and then. But it eventually rolls around to midnight. And who is on watch? 3. Aetbert Cuthman again. Aetbert is getting the short end of the stick lately. It seems like Jorbus is never on watch. Rarely is Willam. Alright. And we roll to see if there's a midnight encounter. No. That's 3 days now. Three days. Can't believe it. Half movement though. The road isn't wet, so my normal rule is going to be difficult to apply here because we're down to half movement for fog. That's because of a visual impediment, so I may just bring it up to full if there isn't any more fog. And like I said, I may be doing this wrong, so if someone's watching this at some point and says, yeah, you really were supposed to roll again for the continuation at the end of the 6 hours, even though it's not a full day, and play the weather out continuously. That may be how it works. Who knows? So we were 10 miles in, and we have half movement. So we'd have 7.5 miles. So 17.5 miles in. How about that, folks? How about that, dear friends? We're still trying to get to 1422. Which is this hex. We're right about here, right about even mark. Like I said, we see hills in front of us. Okay. Let's check for our weather. Two plus 4 is 6. So, 48. Yep, I wrote that on the wrong line. 48. And the low of 7, 11, 31. Okay, so the weather dropped. See, the temperature dropped between the cloudy from the past couple of days and the fog and everything. Interesting. All right, let's see what that general sky conditions are. 40, partly cloudy. And we'll roll for our precipitation. Oh, it's going to be, we need to roll 30%. %, 30% or less, and the light fog continues. No, so close though, 33. Wow. Okay. Oh, but we still have precipitation. Oh no, that's clear. 13. Oh no, it isn't. 40 under 44%. So there's still precipitation. Let's see what it changed to. It changed to 36. 36. Well, it's still light fog. Okay. So we have light fog again. Isn't that interesting? Again, it's kind of ominous and plays into our storyline, right? We're being watched, there's opposing forces, and they know. And we're chanting and jubilating and praying to St. Cuthbert along the way, and things seem to be stable, and we're not having encounters, but at the same time it's foggy and it's cold and it's overcast. It's real ominous. And the fog lasts for 2-4 hours, 8 hours, so through the whole day. Wow. Yeah, see? Again, half move. They're impeding us. Maybe it's a druid controlling the weather. Maybe it's an evil cleric. Either would be applicable. That's what I mean about this kind of being, you know, it's actually pretty cool in the end. Didn't expect it to come out this way, but the way it's developing, the storyline and everything, I think is truly, truly cool. It makes it worth doing this. You know, it wouldn't be very exciting if I wasn't going through all the details and finding this all out, discovering it along the way. You know, you don't want to plan these things out in your head in advance, or it makes it super boring. Okay. I can barely ever pick these up, you know, they're like caltrops. So picking up four-sider, boy, if your fingers are really smooth that day, oh. It's kind of humid though right now, I guess. Alright, and that means that we mark that day off. Let's see where our food and water is. We still have another day of water after casting Create Water yesterday. But we have our Create Water back today. I need to remember to start marking these down. And we left here. And we used this food and water Oh no, that was entering. No, that was leaving. No, that was leaving. That's right, because it was 1 day turnaround. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're already 5 days in. 5 days rations in. We only have 2 weeks. And I don't think we're going to get this mule to eat meat. You know, I guess we can let him graze. Maybe he'll be easier to feed than the rest of us, but we have to let him graze if we run out of food. Grazing could take a long time. All right. And the stars disappear, and the sun starts to rise, and everybody's biological clock wakes them up. It's amazing how that works. Being an old person, I get how that works. They just wake up, and sure enough, the day is beginning. Asher Wildwood's already been up for a little bit. Jorvis Bicklemole is puttering around the camp, enjoying himself, sees that everybody else is up and starts humming a little ditty. And everybody's trying to pretend like the clouds and another day of fog isn't ominous. But we really can't see all that far, and we're down to half movement, so here we are again. But do we have an encounter? We do not. And so, dear friends, we travel on. We continue forward in our jubilation and prayers to St. Cuthbert. Oh, St. Cuthbert, how great ye are! How thy enemy are cudgeled to pulp. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to jubilate. I'm not a good jubilator. All right. So we continue on through the day, and while it isn't mud, we just can't see that well, and we hear things off in the distance, and people holler at us from boats, "Hi!" And we yell back at them, "Ho!" I don't know, maybe that's the way you do it. One side says hoy and the other side says ho. Hoy! Ho! I don't know, I'm making that up. But it sounds like it could really happen, doesn't it? Eventually, though, after stopping the chants for something to eat and some water, because they're really parched. I mean, these guys chant. I looked at the spell duration of chant, and it goes as long as you chant. So, I mean, they are chanting. And I don't know what they chant. What would someone chant to St. Cuthbert? I'd like to be able to make that up, but I'm just not that good. And I'm not a voice actor, so you won't see me on like one of those shows where people sit around and play D&D on camera. So eventually, though, we get through our 7.5 miles, which we were at, let's see, we were 17.5 miles into that 30-mile hex. So we're gonna say 14, another 15 miles. 20, we're gonna be at about 25 miles. Yes, exactly 25 miles, because I split 7.5 and 15. Yes, 25 miles is where we're going to end the day, and so that puts us 5 miles off of this hex edge right here. 5 miles outside of 1422. When we pull off the road over here, and we're closer to the hills, this is where that this is where the knoll was. Yeah, this is where that knoll showed up at midnight. And here it is, it's been foggy all day. So we pulled a couple hundred yards off of the road, which puts us even closer to the hills. But not so far off the beaten path. And we start the evening fire. Balda and Tiny don't quit their blessings and last chant. They continue on a little more quietly, but they're just getting it all out. And we roll for our evening encounter. Oh, and we have one. Sure enough. See what's happening, friends? We're at our closest point to the hills. We've had 2 days of this mysterious light fog hanging over us, and it's been cloudy and getting colder. Wow. Okay, so when this happens, they're still chanting. And we need to figure out well, I might need that. Not this one, is it? What is this? Nope, this is in case you're joining the stream for the first time and you don't know the rules for first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This is a page I copied out of the Dungeon Master's Guide, which has the overland outdoor encounter frequency tables listed here. So you can pause the video and read this for yourself. I won't go through it, but this is how I'm determining that we need to roll an encounter morning, evening, and midnight for each day. That's where this comes from. And also what die to roll, because we are traveling in a moderate to sparse part of the country on a trail that is patrolled and has merchants and, you know, infrequently traveled, but patrolled and traveled. And let's see. Let's roll our encounter. 47. Oh, it's just pilgrims. Huh, man, I was geared up for gnolls or something. Orcs. Nope, it's pilgrims. So we see pilgrims coming out of the fog. And, man, I mean, I can't imagine what these pilgrims are thinking, showing up with the clerics, you know, this fancy wagon, and the clerics chanting and doing their religious, you know, whatever they're, you know, they're chanting and things. I don't know what else to call it. They're chanting and prayers, but they're going to town at it. So I think the only thing that would make sense at this point, other than the 3 pilgrims who actually engage with us, the three pilgrims out of all of them, right? Because this would be a pilgrimage. This would be a procession in all reality, if you can imagine. Again, we have 3 here. 3 pilgrims. In the Rogues Gallery, it has caravans and merchants and, let's see, we want some pilgrims. Merchants, adventurers and followers, mercenaries. Here we go. Pilgrims. The following section on pilgrims provides 4 different sized groups. The makeup of each group is listed as follows. See, there may be an additional cleric or something with these pilgrims. They could be followers of some completely different faith. Let's see how this plays out. 4 different size groups make up each group is listed as follows. Number of 0 level pilgrims, number of clerics divided by level, number of fighters divided by level, number of thieves divided by level, monk if any, magic user any, and total. No statistics are provided for adventurers, as they may be randomly determined in the preceding table. No alignment has been given for any group, and alignments may be determined by the campaign or on the table below. Okay. Well, you know what? Rather than hold things up right now, I'm going to revisit this and see if I can't include it. The idea of having high-level characters, character type NPCs, player character types, I think this adds an imbalance here at this point that I don't want to introduce so early in the game. So I'm just going to table this, but I'm glad that I pulled this out and we're talking about it, because I'd like to use it. And in the future, rather than have pilgrims and merchants be something on here that are like 1 to 4, I'd rather have a representation of what a caravan would look like, because they're going to have protection, right? Under most conditions, not all, but under most conditions, pilgrims would not be just people traveling by themselves on foot. They would be, they would be part of an entourage, a caravan, a larger group with some protection along the way. Yeah. That is, though, why I was saying that this is patrolled. Though this path here is patrolled, mainly because of the merchant trade and things that come along here, but also it makes sense that the pilgrims can travel through here without being terribly molested. That's why I was so surprised that an ogre and gnolls would be there. But hey, they are. That's what adventure is all about. Okay, so let's not pass up the opportunity, though, to try to get a rumor. So this is a village or smaller. Are there any rumors? Yes, there are 2 rumors. And we ask the first pilgrim. Let's see, who is it that's going to ask the pilgrim? It's going to be, in this case, one of the clerics. We'll say Willam. Willam talks to one of the pilgrims, and pilgrim, where are you coming from? Where are you going? What do you seek? And they start talking a little bit. It says, well, what have you seen along the road? What news of the road behind? 34. That's not good. That's low. 34. Well, he's grumpy. It's evening time, I think, right? Yes. It's evening time, and that pilgrim is grumpy. And he's like, he just really doesn't want to talk right now. He, probably not even a follower of St. Cuthbert, so he's like put out by somebody else's, some other deity's cleric, asking him for information about his day or something. Make a successful charisma check or have to wait, so... What is Willam's charisma? Willam has a 10 charisma. He's got to roll 10 or under. And he doesn't. 19, so... nope. Lost that one. And we'll just say Aetbert does the same thing. You know, they're pilgrims. He was talking to another one, and $44. Same thing. They're both grumpy. Boy, they're hangry, and they've been traveling all day, and they just don't want to talk. However, Aetbert's charisma is 12. A little bit better. A little bit better. Can he do it? No, 19. Man, this is like the exact same thing twice. Well, they are buddies, and they did train together. Alright. So, no. Man, rumors are tougher than I thought. This is actually good, because I didn't want, like, just a ton of rumors coming out and everything, but... I'm really liking the way this is going. Okay. So, no rumors. We didn't get killed and eaten by anything, so that's good. But that's only evening time, and so the pilgrims move on. Maybe they were interested in the goings-on of the wagon and the, you know, how all the prayers and chanting was going and stuff, but and later, after everyone's gone to bed, someone is on watch. 6. Jorbus Bicklemole. Jorbus, our illusionist thief, is off on the outskirts, looking around, checking things out, checking on the mule. No. Okay. Getting away pretty easy now, even though we're not moving very fast. We're not quite halfway there yet. It's a long walk. Alright, so as we enter the new day and we get our rest, because that encounter didn't happen at midnight, fortunately. We are going to roll for our weather. Eight and 10. Plus 12, so 54. Minus 13. These are the ones that get me. Minus 10 would be 32, so 29. Wow. Okay, it's gonna freeze tonight, so boy, this is the lowest. Well, no, I think it's been maybe lower than that, but yeah, we're gonna have to stay close to the fire and keep the big fire going. Sky conditions 20, it's clear. Hopefully it's not foggy. 30%. That it continues. Yes, it continues. It's still light fog. Yuck. Okay. 3 days in a row. This is definitely seeming supernatural to us. Wait, what did I say? I know it's 30% chance to continue. 2 to 4 hours. Three hours, so not so much of the day this time. But that's still back to half movement. Well, for only 3 hours of the day, this is where I start to think, okay, maybe I should be rolling again. But then I would be splitting movement up as well. I'll kind of do this for the whole day just because I don't want to keep breaking down hex distances, and keep doing the math. I'm already having a hard time with the highs and lows and just subtracting and adding 4 and 8 and 7. Don't judge me. Come on now. Alright, so let's see. In the fog, rested, but wishing that it was not just clear skies, but clear of fog. We roll for our morning encounter check just as the prayers for our day's travel, our personal prayers, are at their height. A 5, nope. Good. And friends, through this day, the jubilations, the chanting, the prayers, they become almost angelic. The fog lifts. We still only get half moved through the day, so still 7.5, but that puts us into the next hex. At least we were only 5 miles out from 1422 right here. We're 5 miles out, so with 7.5 miles, we get 2.5 miles in. 2.5 miles in. Can you believe that? Let's see. Hex 1422. That's where we'll end the day. Or we'll start the next, I should say. But we still haven't completed this day's move. Now, dear friends, as we round this most dangerous corner here and start to head off into the next hex, and the fog clears, we feel a little bit better. Skies are clear. I mean, hey, for lack of a better term, we're rocking and rolling here, right? We're getting away pretty easy, I'd say. And so, as we reach the end of the day, as I said, basically 2.5 miles in to 1422, right here at this that little juncture right there. We pull off to the side of the road. We start our evening fire. And we make our encounter check. 12. Oh, that was barely on the edge of the screen. Nope, definitely not an encounter that evening. Good. And finally, at the very end of the day, with Aetbert Cuthbert on watch. 11, no. No midnight encounter either. If we're into this hex, 1422, we're headed to 1323. 1323 is this hex just one away from Elfwine. 1323. And so, dear friends, that's where I'm going to leave it. We've made it through another couple of days past this hex and into the next. So things are moving pretty quickly here as we get towards the halfway mark between Aratar and Elfwine. We've been lucky that we haven't had any dangerous encounters, but it's been interesting how the weather is played out and how that appears within the minds of the player characters as they travel back home, knowing that there is an opposing force out there. They don't know what the details are, but they know they're being watched, and it's been confirmed by the folks in Aratar that they know we're taking the basin back, and they know what the implications are. So we'll see how this all plays out. But whatever it is, that will be on another stream. Bye-bye.